Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Don J MMA podcast. I'm here with Don Dada once again. We're going to be talking about Israel Adesanya and his dog, which is a very controversial topic at the moment. And the main event once again. Lewis, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Ready for the main event. I mean, the card, as we were talking about, was lacking. I mean, we discussed that in the other video. But listen, I'm ready for that main event. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be so boring, the main event, to be honest. I just think Adesanya is just going to outpoint them and win by decision.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping Sean Strickland puts him on the back foot, comes in there with a bit more heavy pressure, a bit more output, kind of forces Izzy into it a little bit. I don't think Sean Strickland can win. I think, of course, he can win,
Yeah.
but I don't think he will. We'll see. But listen, Israel Adesanya and his dog. Right, I've made a quick video on this on TikTok. What on earth?
Yeah,
What is
it's
going on?
it's like I mean it's so weird. I watched the MMA Guru's video on it of him talking about it,
Yeah, I think
and
everyone
then
has.
I seen his other stuff where he was talking about it as well. Mate, the guy's just so weird. Like Adesanya's a creep. And like
So yeah.
see the way he like play like he thinks he's like, oh, I'm playing into it now, so like nobody can say anything to me. You're a weirdo. You are weird as hell. Playing into like, did you see the video of him like stroking his dog and like for just to keep us family friendly, it's pissing. And he goes and he like makes that grunting noise when he's stroking it. Have you seen that?
Yeah, he
It's
goes, oh.
so weird, man. He's such a creep.
My thing with Israel Adesanya is, like you said, look, guys, the MMA guru made a good point of this. Just because you go along with something, it doesn't mean it's not disgusting. It's like EDP, you won't know him. You might know him. But he goes along with the fact that he's a paedophile and he'll try and brush it off as a joke. He's still a child molester, everyone.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
so
so
weird.
yeah, so people talking about Israel Adesanya, and also the account that he follows, right? Yes, what he did was weird, but I could maybe play it off as like, I guess I don't know. You can't really
See,
play it off, but it's not unforgivable. But like him following that dog fetish account just makes it so much weirder.
yeah, it's like him following the account is like it's weird as hell, but it's like it's a girl doing those things. It's like not as if he's like following like and it's
Yeah,
like dogs doing things like that. It actually is a woman, which again is weird. The weirdest thing is the guy videoed himself wanking off his dog. Like this guy videoed this, and people defend it by saying like just weird stuff like, oh, this is like you're taking it too deep. No, like this is disgusting and this is so weird. How this guy has any
yeah.
fans is he's so weird.
Like if honestly, when I Israel Adesanya, first of all, when this guy first came in the UFC, my favorite fighter hands down. I loved Israel Adesanya's run up until he beat Robert Whittaker, and then when I think some of my friend sent it me a long while ago about his dog, and after that, like I just can't. I don't know. Like you may own a dog, you may not. I
Yeah.
own a dog. I would never,
No.
never do that to my dog. Never do that to my dog. You know,
It's just
and it's
weird.
not something. Even if you play it off as a joke, it's not normal. People
No.
need to understand that it is not a normal thing to do to your dog.
It's and like the weird thing about it is like at the press conference it was brought up to him and he'd said nothing about it. And then when he comes off stage and like he has a minute to think, then he starts like posting weird stuff about it on Twitter.
Mm.
And like as MMA Guru says, he's like trying to play it off as like it's his 8 Mile moment. It's like, no, like that this is weird, this is wrong. If anything, he should have came out and like I mean, you can't explain yourself because the video's already there, but like
Mm.
not come out and then like start like going into the fact that you touch dogs or like you've got this weird thing for dogs. It's I mean, he's just so weird. The guy's a creep. He's so cringy. The lines that he says, like that frozen like Elsa line, the UFC should have cut him. They should have just said, "Get out, gone. Don't have this guy." I would actually. I would rather have Amanda Nunes headline a card, watch her press conference, than watch Adesanya at a press conference. Anything he says is terrible. It's so cringy. As well as that, Sean Strickland is a melt as well. Do you see the way he's getting on? Like the guy goes on and on about oh, he wants to kill people, he wants to murder this, murder that. You don't, because see if you genuinely did want to do that, you would have done it. So like,
Yeah, so my thing with Sean Strickland, right? People need to understand this. It's like Guru said. Just because Sean Strickland is out in Israel Adesanya about the dog thing doesn't mean he's a fantastic person himself. You know,
no,
I personally wouldn't associate myself with somebody who said that they go out at night hoping for an excuse to kill somebody. Do I believe he actually thinks that kind of stuff? Listen, I don't think he'd actually do it. I'd like to hope he wouldn't. But yeah, Sean Strickland's mental enough to where I actually think that kind of stuff goes through his head. But at the same time, this has been one of the very, like, I think we'll look back at this build up in a few years and be like, what the hell was going on? Because
yeah,
it's just such a weird build. I've never seen anything like it. Like, I have never seen anything like it. And I thought the Dricus Duplessis and Israel Adesanya build up would be annoying because it'd be all about race and who's from Africa and who's not.
it will
But
be.
this is such a strange build up.
Yeah, it's just like, and like clips you see of Sean Strickland, it would help if I could speak with the Nelk boys, where he's like, "No, you don't have a lifestyle that demands respect."
Mm,
It's like, for a start, it's weird the way he's getting on like that because it's like these people are bringing you onto their show to give you a platform. You're talking about respect. I mean, what has he done to really earn, like, say their respect? Like, they're not fighters, so
yeah.
like Sean Strickland will earn respect from Adesanya after they fight because they're fighters, so they have respect that way. But like, why should the Nelk boys have to respect Sean Strickland because he can fight and because the guy goes around and says, "Oh, he has these thoughts of killing people," which
Mm,
again, I think it's just a character. It's like it's just weird, and it's like I don't know what he's trying to go off because going around saying, "Oh, you want to murder someone," or like that he walks around the street holding a gun, hoping to kill somebody. I'm sorry, I don't believe any of that at all. I just think that's the biggest load of shit. It's like it's weird. It's just they're both just complete weirdos. Sean Strickland is
yeah.
just funnier.
Like with Sean Strickland, like, I don't know. I watched his Joe Rogan podcast. I watched it all. And I didn't know he was actually like that. I thought we'd see more of like a down to earth side to him. And I guess we kind of did. He talked about his rough childhood and stuff, and obviously that's not a laughing matter. But
No, that's
listen,
serious. That stuff like
I think Sean Strickland, the man can fight. Israel Adesanya, the man can fight. We might not like them both, but look, at the end of the day, it's just such a strange situation. It's been one of the strangest build-ups I've ever seen. Um, Literally yesterday, I saw them going at each other again over interviews, and I just thought, let's get the fight over and done with. Let's get the result in. I really, really want to see. I mean, what would the UFC look like if Sean Strickland won the UFC middleweight title?
I mean, like there's much really changed, like because I mean he both of them now, it's weird because now I've Adesanya's the champion. Like all
Mm.
this dog stuff is tied to him. Where then if Sean Strickland's the champion, all this like saying he wants to kill people's tied to him. It's like it's a weird look for the UFC. It's I just don't get it.
Maybe
And like
Dricus Duplessis is the hero we needed.
yeah, I honestly I hope Adesanya beats Strickland, to be honest. I mean, I
Mm.
would like Adesanya to lose, but again, Strickland, I don't know. I just think he's a bit of a melt. And I would like Dricus to beat Adesanya purely because of the way Adesanya's going about trying to build that fight. It's like,
Yeah.
it's so, he's such an attention seeker, Adesanya. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just weird. It's like, it's made honestly, KSI is less cringy than Adesanya, and that's saying something.
Yeah, so like with my thing with Izzy is what when he seems to act like sometimes that there's this. I don't know, like he acts like he's more intelligent than he actually is sometimes. Like he'll talk in one-liners, he'll say these quotes, but sometimes I just think to myself, Izzy, you're a fighter. You came from a very well-off, privileged life that is very well documented. He will try and say otherwise.
Yeah, he tries
You
to play it
can't
off.
hide your history. You were pretty well off. Just fight. You're pretty good at it. That's something you're very intelligent in. But this whole race thing, and Dricus du Plessis as well, fighters should never make it about race. You know, back in the day with Bernard Hopkins and Joe Calzaghe, I'll never let a white boy beat me. Stuff like this. We
That's so
should
weird.
move past this kind of stuff. And being a role model holding a UFC title, you should not encourage racial discrimination. Whether Dricus du Plessis did it first, I don't care. Don't care. Why the hell are you doing it back? It's just going to create a divide. Literally, if you look on Twitter, you can see there's a divide just literally from them, and it brings the worst sides out of people, and it's
Yeah.
completely unnecessary.
It's like weird as well because if Adesanya keeps going down the race route with it, how do the UFC put a promo together for this fight? Because they cannot promote a fight based on that, surely. Like their
Who
whole thing
like
can't
the
be.
promo's going to be the battle for who's from Africa.
Yeah, and like I mean, I don't know if I've missed stuff out, but I genuinely don't see what Drickus has said that is wrong. He lives in South Africa. He fights out of South Africa.
And he was
When
born
he
there.
says he's going to be the one to bring the belt back to Africa,
Yeah,
he lives there. It's like it's not as if he said anything wrong. And Adesanya, no one's saying he's not from Africa. The guy was clearly born in Nigeria.
yeah.
Clearly,
I mean,
his family
when
moved.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the whole thing, if we go right back, it was started by Kamaru Usman. I think. I think he said something about Dricus du Plessis. Dricus then responded with the whole, "I'm going to be the first fighter to bring it back to Africa." First of all, the first fighter to bring it back to Africa was Francis Ngannou. He
Yeah,
literally took the belt to Africa. You know, um, but obviously the UFC likes to wipe Francis Ngannou off the planet like he was never there. But look, for me, I don't care about who's from Africa, who's not. Dricus du Plessis, first of all, is somebody that surprised the hell out of me because I thought, and we've all seen the video, I
yeah.
thought he was going to get ripped apart by Robert Whittaker, and
Oh shit.
yeah, so Dricus du Plessis, I was really shocked about the Robert Whittaker fight. But in my opinion, does he beat Israel Adesanya? Does any of the middleweights beat Israel Adesanya, whether we like him or not? No, I really don't think they do. I think the division to really get a bit of hype, to really test Israel Adesanya's greatness, is light heavyweight.
I think Drickus beats him. Like
You
that's
think?
I said that, yeah, and I'm gonna have to die on that hill. I just think going into that fight, I said it in one of my videos ages ago. It's kind of like a McGregor Aldo situation in the sense of Adesanya is so invested in this.
Yeah, 100%.
Like anything Drickus says to him just gets under his skin immediately and like just winds him up, like Connor did with Aldo. I don't even think Drickus is purposely trying to get under Adesanya's skin either. I just think he just has that effect on him. And I don't know. I mean, he needs to take it to the ground, and he's got pretty good ground control. Like if he's able to get Adesanya down, which I actually think he probably can get him down, he
Yeah,
could probably. He's a good chance of being able to hold him there, like how Jan Blachowicz did. I think
yeah.
he can. He's got pretty good ground control, but again, if he can't get it to the ground and it stays on the feet, he's a heavy bag for Adesanya.
Yeah, so the thing with Dricus is he's so he's got a lot of power in his hands. I think that's something I underestimated against Rob. And Rob's
Yeah.
chin has always been a bit shaky. In my opinion, Robert Whittaker will definitely go on a decline after that fight, and that's for another time. But Dricus du Plessis, I absolutely think he has the wrestling to give Izzy problems, but I don't see how he's setting it up because Izzy doesn't overextend himself like that. I
Yeah,
just don't see him creating any opportunities. And similar to the Brunson fight, where Brunson just started rushing into Izzy to try and make something happen, and he got caught. I could see something similar happening. But then again, when Izzy's on the ground, he gave his back to Marvin Vettori, but Marvin Vettori just didn't have good enough jiu-jitsu to finish it off. But listen, you give your back to Dricus du Plessis, he will finish you. And
yeah,
I think he is a test in terms of his physical attributes, his power, but most importantly, his wrestling and grappling that Israel Adesanya hasn't yet faced in the middleweight division.
yeah. And another thing with the Dricus or Dricus, I don't even know how to say his name, that fight is that his cardio doesn't really hold up that well.
Yeah,
So another thing would be if he is going to implement wrestling, he could gas very quickly if he cannot get Adesanya down.
yeah.
And
And
I
if
don't
he's
see
missing,
how, yeah, I don't see how he gets a takedown in the center of the octagon. Because like you said, Adesanya doesn't overextend. So even with his kicks, like I don't really see Dricus being fast enough to really, or Adesanya to like misplace a kick for him to grab. I think
yeah,
he would have to back Adesanya up. And I know he's got really good takedown defense against the cage, but I think Dricus would have to back him against the cage and just pretty much overpower him, get in the clinch and look for trips. I don't think he's going to double leg him or single leg him. I think get in, grab him, and just try and go for a
yeah.
trip or a sweep to get him down.
Yeah, and listen, that is the way he goes. He has to make it ugly, and he has to make it ugly early. We've seen again, like you said, Dracus can't outlast Izzy over the course of 5 rounds. He can't be patient either. It's like he just has to acknowledge the fact that he's got to make it dirty, and he's got to make Izzy uncomfortable and then take him down. But once again, I think the division to give Israel Adesanya real trouble is light heavyweight. That's got a weird, awkward title picture at the moment. If Adesanya was to fight Yuri Prohaska, he's not. Alex Pereira is. But if he was, I think he could beat Yuri Prohaska. Yuri Prohaska is massively overrated, in my opinion. And his style is very suitable for Israel Adesanya, just like it's suitable even more for Alex Pereira. But apart from that, the other light heavyweights, Ankalaev would maul him. Alex Pereira being more bigger and naturally filled out, I think would
To
knock him
beat
out.
him.
Um, Rakic has the grappling and wrestling to really give Israel Adesanya a lot of trouble. Um, and then Lionheart Smith, man. Lionheart Smith's got that lion heart.
It's weird with Adesanya though because what you said was right about the light heavyweights, but like it's hard for me to picture how Adesanya actually would be a light heavyweight because when he did move the light heavyweight, he
He's
obviously
super
wasn't
small.
really taking it serious and he didn't bulk up. Where if he bulks up, I think he would have an okay chance with people that won't grapple with him really. Like
Yeah.
I think I think he could beat Jan Blachowicz in a rematch, definitely.
I mean, Jan is what people forget about Jan Blachowicz is, first of all, he looked terrible against Alex Pereira. I mean, he looked good in the first round. High altitude Jan Blachowicz is the new mythical fighter. Um, but after that altitude kicked in, he was done. He was so
Yeah,
done, and he was desperately wrestling. He'll always have a good chin. Um, the thing, what I find strange, if we look back at that fight, is how Izzy fans tried to rewrite history and say that he was winning on the feet. Jan Blachowicz outstruck him. Jan Blachowicz out wrestled him, and he comfortably beat him. But
yeah,
like you said, Israel wasn't filled out. He was 190 pounds, I believe, on the night, or on
yeah.
the
He was
scales,
small.
was not heavy. So I really think Jan Blachowicz could beat him, but then again, Jan is touching 40.
And another thing about that Jan Blachowicz fight, Jan did do very well against Adesanya. I actually thought Adesanya was going to go up and like TKO him, knock him out inside 2 rounds.
Yeah,
Obviously, was mistaken. But in that fight, if you do watch it, Jan did react a lot to Adesanya's feints, like a lot.
yeah.
Um, and I just think next time if he was to go up, if he did bulk up, like the way Jones went away for ages of it, or I think how long was he away for? Like 2.5 years.
Maybe even three.
and like took his time and bulked up. And like you wouldn't look at John Jones now and go, no, he shouldn't be at heavyweight. He looks like a heavyweight now.
Yeah, definitely. And that was the thing. Like I mean, remember those days though, Israel Adesanya. This is how big the hype was. People were talking about Izzy and John. Thank,
Yeah,
I mean, maybe not thank Lord because people probably wanted to see that now. But John, past his prime or not, would have destroyed Israel Adesanya. I thought he would have anyway, but there was a lot of people back in those days. You know, John looked bad against Reyes. Israel Adesanya was on top of the world. Or what if Izzy can catch him on the feet? No, John would have flattened that man.
yeah, that wouldn't have been competitive, I don't think.
Yeah, just with
At,
how
at
strong
all.
John was compared to Izzy.
Just how good he is as well. Like
Yeah,
I just think he would have made light work of Adesanya.
yeah. I mean, on the feet, I think Izzy could find some success. I think he could have. Not against
Maybe in the
heavyweight John,
opening
because I
rounds.
think heavyweight John just carries a different level of power, most likely. But, I think he could have found success on the feet. But even then, it's not a complete mismatch there. And John would have, as soon as he grabbed a hold of him, that's it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. But what else was I going to say? I had a question that I wanted to bring up to talk about. I actually seen it before we started recording. Who, and it links in with Adesanya and UFC 293, who has the worst fan base? Adesanya, Conor McGregor, or Habib?
Lately, recency bias would suggest Israel Adesanya because, but then again,
That's who I'm going to go for, Adesanya, hands down.
I will go with Adesanya, but in terms of just because you can't defend what he's done, you just can't defend what he's done, and they are. So for me, yeah, and a lot of them lack a lot of MMA knowledge. The thing with Khabib fans is Khabib fans have a reason to be quite arrogant. Khabib never lost, never really got a cup.
Yeah,
As much as I don't think he's the greatest fighter of all time, he absolutely probably could have been if he stuck around. He was definitely a generational talent. With Conor McGregor, I think the fans have gone away a little bit. Most of his fans I've seen now consist of like, oh, remember Prime Conor, man, that guy was something else. I
yeah.
think everybody's acknowledged now that Conor's really finished.
Do you think he is finished? Do you think he's done?
I think he's done. I think he's done.
I think he beats Michael Chandler. Now, I am a part of that McGregor fan base, so that's why.
Yeah.
But no, I think he beats Chandler. Like, I think he beats him. Like, I think he beats Michael Chandler. But I don't know where he goes after beating Chandler. Like, to me, the UFC should just bring him back for this Chandler fight, and then, like, I don't know. I don't know why he would want to fight again. Like, he's never
Yeah.
gonna beat Islam. He's never gonna beat Leon Edwards.
No. I believe he thinks he can in his mind.
You have to think like that, though.
But here's my thing with especially the welterweights, because that's the division. If Connor wants to not have a tough weight cut because he's juiced, if he
He
wants to
is.
have an okay weight cut, and bearing in mind, I've made multiple videos. I think he should be banned from MMA anyway. I know people talk about his leg break. I know he used PEDs for his leg break, but at the end of the day, it's performance enhancing drugs, and he's still on them. He's not got a broken leg anymore. He's still on them. They're not out of his system. But then again, Michael Chandler's absolutely on juice. I don't believe a word that he says. Again, he
Yeah.
goes with it. He'll say like, "Oh, people think I'm on juice." No, we know you're on juice, Michael. Just like you know you're on juice. You have shriveled testicles, and you're absolutely juiced to the gills. Now, if they fought, again, I have to agree with you. Conor should win that fight. But while Conor McGregor's sniffing and doing cocaine and harming his body, to be fair to Michael Chandler, he's drilling in that training room.
Yeah. I just think though when it comes to it, Michael Chandler will just stand with him. Like he
Yeah,
won't wrestle him. Or if he does wrestle him, he'll pick him up and slam him once. Then McGregor will get back up, or it'll be the end of the round, and he'll just stand on the feet and get picked apart like Chad Mendes.
Yeah, so I mean, that's another thing. While we're on Conor McGregor, a lot of people have given him flack for becoming a black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it. What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, I don't. Apparently, he's been a brown belt. I've seen a video actually talking about it. I can't remember how many years he said he had been a brown belt for, but it was a very long time, and like he has committed his life to mixed martial arts. So I kind of see it. Like, I mean, he's been doing it for years. Like, I mean, I just think he's got underrated grappling. Like Habib's grappling. There's not many people that are better at grappling than Habib, and he's a white belt in
No one.
jiu-jitsu. Habib's a
Never
white belt.
seen a better grappler than Khabib.
Yeah, he's so dominant. And then you think about Chad Mendes took him down. He done a good job of getting back to his feet, I thought, against Chad Mendes. Plus,
Mm.
he took that fight against Chad Mendes on short notice. The Diaz one, Diaz was a lot bigger. Plus, McGregor was hurt when he shot in for that takedown. I don't care what anybody says. It wasn't like he was gassed and he was hurt. So there wasn't really any technique in that takedown attempt
No,
anyway. He
it
just
was a
shot in for him.
desperation shot.
Yeah. So, and
When
he'd had a good matchup against Max Holloway very early on in Max's career, where he implemented grappling to get the
yeah,
decision win.
in the first in the Khabib fight, what a lot of people think because you're losing on the ground, you're getting absolutely dominated. It's not the case. We've seen it with Islam and Arman Saryukian. We've seen it with again Conor and Khabib. Conor showed very good defensive grappling early on when Khabib shot in on that single leg. Conor was literally doing the splits. He was that good at defending that single leg. It's just Khabib has a different level of top control to anybody else. And that first round, Conor really, it's not like Khabib was cutting him open and battering him. He stuffed it. He did okay. He showed good defensive grappling. I think he's always shown against Chad Mendes. He got up. All right, Chad might have beat him on the ground, but he got up and finished him.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say about McGregor's grappling. I think we haven't seen enough of it, and I think people just like to shit on him because he is McGregor, and that
it's.
Diaz grappling exchange didn't look too good, and
But
against
Nate Diaz is a formidable jiu-jitsu practitioner.
yeah,
How many fighters have actually beat Nate Diaz on the ground that are his weight? Leon Edwards had his way with him. Rory McDonald had his way with him.
that
But
was bad
Rory McDonald and Leon Edwards are far bigger than
and
Nate
far better
Diaz
than Nate Diaz, in
and
my
far
opinion.
better. Yeah, and far better. But like Leon Edwards is a big boy. Nate Diaz shouldn't really be at 170 in my opinion. His best work was at 155. But
Yeah,
like even Nate Diaz and Khabib, like I know we shouldn't be using MMA math, but Khabib has think about how good Nate is on the ground.
off his
Khabib was
back.
more Nate Diaz.
Yeah, I think Diaz is okay. Diaz would. I think McGregor would have done a better job at defending the takedowns against Habib than Diaz would, but Diaz would have looked better off his back
Yeah,
than
because he will
McGregor did.
attack with submissions. He'll try and make something happen for himself. But even like I just hate the narrative fans go with like even Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev, like just because Charles was losing the grappling exchanges doesn't mean he was doing badly. A lot of what Islam was trying to do was getting stopped by Charles.
Yeah,
So I just think it's a case of MMA fans just chill out, guys.
yeah. MMA math, it never works ever, 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 ever
No,
works.
never.
Every
Exactly.
fight is different, regardless if this guy beat this guy and he lost to this guy. It doesn't matter. It never ever works. But I've got one more question before we go to cap it off today. Which fighter, now I haven't even prepared for this myself, but I've been thinking about it. Which fighter do you think is going to make a comeback in 2024? Well, end of 23 into 24. What fighter do you think is currently on a losing streak that is going to make a bit of a comeback?
That is a tough one. That is a very, very tough question. I'm going to go with Kamaru Usman.
Um, that is a very good pick.
Now, the
I'm just
reason why I picked Kamaru Usman is because Kamaru Usman, in my opinion, a lot of people think he's completely done. No,
No.
Leon Edwards is just that good. People that think Kamaru Usman, Leon only beat him that way the second time because he was crap. Because Kamaru was over the hill, he had no knees. Kamaru's had no knees for years. I think he's in his absolute prime? No. But do I think in 2023 or 2024, like you're saying, he fights a Hamzat? I think he beats Hamzat.
Yeah. I think I think Usman will challenge for the belt again before it's said and done.
Yeah.
I
I don't know
think
if he'll win it though, but he will
no,
challenge.
no, I don't think so. And I seen another post actually talking about him. His run as welterweight champion, extremely underrated. This guy was so active. He
One
always
of the
fought
greatest.
best of the best. I mean, he cringy, melty like Adesanya, yes, dressed like a weirdo at times.
But he's not a bad guy.
No, and he's a great fighter. And he
Yeah.
lost. Leon Edwards just styles make fights. I know everybody says that, but Leon Edwards' style is very. It's hard for Kamaru Usman to get anything really off. Leon's got really good takedown defense. He's much better than Usman on the feet. And I think when Colby and Leon fight eventually, Leon Edwards is going to beat Colby Covington. I think
100%
he might
comfortably.
finish Colby Covington.
I mean, a lot of people. The thing with Leon and Colby, just before we go, I don't know how much time, but Leon and Colby is very tailor made for Leon. A lot of people think because Leon's a slow starter and Colby's going to put pure output on him, that's bad for Leon. But Leon's 6 foot. I think he's 6'1", 6'2".
He's something like
Colby's
that, yeah.
very
I'll tell you right
Colby
now.
wings. Colby wings out overhands from a distance very wildly, and I don't think he has the strength to compete with Leon in the clinch. So I just think I don't know if I agree that Leon stops him, but the things to look out for in that fight is Leon blasting Colby's lead leg. Both of them are southpaws, and Colby just really not being able to gauge range. And I think he loses to a very frustrating one-sided decision.
My thing with this matchup is I know I said Leon is going to finish him, and I still do believe that. I think Leon will finish him in the early stages of the third, or sorry, later stages of the third, early stages of the
Yeah,
fourth, one of those two.
yeah.
But the only thing that scares me about it doesn't scare me actually, but you know what I mean, scares me about Leon fighting Colby is the Kamaru Usman 2 fight. When he was put up against the cage, he just stood with a high guard. And if he does that, Colby will not back off like Usman did and
He'll just
reset.
keep going.
He'll just keep going. And at that point, I don't think he'll finish Leon because Colby does have pillows for hands, but it'll be a very one-sided decision if it
And
goes up.
the question, in my opinion, will be once if Leon beats in the way I think he will, I think Colby fans will run with the he's past it narrative. He's been too inactive. That's Colby's own fault. If he's now out
Yeah.
of his prime, if he hasn't been active enough, that's his fault for waiting out for title fights. He definitely could have had a lot more fights by now, and he probably could have improved a lot more by now. But he hasn't, and in my opinion, Leon Edwards, especially if it's in the UK, will beat him.
So you're going to go for the fighter to make a big comeback early next year is Kamaru Usman. Before I finish, I'm
Yes.
going to give mine. I'm going to go for Dominic Reyes. Now, I haven't looked to see who his next fight is. I don't know if he's booked yet or not, but this is how Dominic Reyes is going to get back to the in the title picture by 2025. I'm just going to rhyme it off here. This is how I would do it. So he's currently ranked number 13. I would stick him in there with Anthony Smith. Um, I don't think Anthony Smith hits particularly hard compared to
No.
the other light heavyweights. Now, obviously, Reyes' chin is completely done for. So I think this is a very winnable matchup for him. Anthony Smith is very easily hit. You know, we've seen it against Ryan Spann, and I don't think he takes well the damage being dealt on him. So I think that's a very winnable matchup for Dominic Reyes. After he wins that, I would then probably put him in there with Johnny Walker. I think he could beat Johnny Walker again, very easily hit. No, he could fly a name or something ridiculous, but I think he could KO him. Dominic Reyes could KO him. He's got the power. And then at that stage, you're looking to put him in against one of the top guys. I mean, Jan Blachowicz won't
Brackets.
be around. Jan Blachowicz won't be around by then. I don't think. I think the guy will retire. Alex Pereira is a tricky one. Now, if Alex Pereira hits him, he's out.
Oh God, no! Don't even put that in my mind. I couldn't imagine it. I think this would be like Alex Pereira detonating a left hook on. I can just imagine Dominic Reyes folding. I can imagine Dominic Reyes' soul kind of just sitting out from his body when he's like laid out on the ground.
Yeah, that Alex Pereira does
That
have
is
a
bad.
good chin. That would be bad unless he started grappling with him, which we've seen Dominic Reyes is he's okay at grappling. Like I mean,
Oh,
he's not
listen, Dominic Reyes stopped John Jones's,
yeah.
but this was the Dominic Reyes that is not the Dominic Reyes we have now.
Yeah, I just feel like he's taking quite a long time off now. I think he's probably gonna have to. Him as well, I like to hope his coaches sat with him and went, the way that you used to fight isn't gonna work anymore. You know, there's a big hole in your game now, which I mean, you can't help. It's your chin. You get hit there, you're out. So we're gonna have to implement new styles, maybe grappling, having holding them against the cage and things like that. But again, we've seen it whenever Alex Pereira fought Adesanya. Just quickly, this is just my point to try and say how Reyes might be able to beat Alex Pereira. When Pereira is looking for the finish and backed Adesanya, we've seen it. He just drops his hands, and Dominic
Yeah,
Reyes hits hard. And if Adesanya was able to flatline Alex Pereira, so could Dominic Reyes, I think, with the power.
and Alex Pereira fights with his chin in the air, so it's not impossible.
Yeah. No, I think Dominic Reyes, I think he's really, really underrated now. I really, really do. And I think
Yeah,
he will make a comeback. This time off will help him. Now, I could say this and he could get KO'd again in his next fight. And if that's the case, he needs to be released. But I do believe this time off will help him. He's a very well rounded skill set. And I don't think light heavyweight has the best talent in the
no,
UFC, if I'm being
no,
honest. So that's my
yeah.
pick. Ben's going for Usman. I'm going out there with Dominic Reyes. Appreciate everybody tuning in for this episode.